Hello, welcome. Marlene here. Today is a sponsored video. Thank you to Artisan Cooking Supply. And now on to the tutorial. Let's get started on this recipe. This is a big batch. It says on the recipe card that it makes 7 dozen cookies. So really a perfect cookie to bring to an event if you have to quickly make something and you don't want to spend a fortune to bring, let's say, to a potluck type of a thing, you know? And they'll be gobbled up. I can tell you these are very good cookies. Now let's add the sugar to the bowl here, and now I'm going to add my butter. My butter is room temperature. You don't want to add chilled butter to your bowl or you're going to break your mixer. Now I'm using my handheld mixer and I'm just going to cream this. Now that I've creamed my butter and sugar, now I've added my cream cheese and I'm going to whip this once again. Alright, now I'm adding lemon zest and lemon juice to this and 2 eggs. And whipping once again. And now I've got some baking powder. I'm just putting that in my flour, and now I'm adding my flour to the wet ingredients, and we're just mixing all that up. This batter is quite soft, so we have to chill it before we actually bake it. So I'm going to be putting this in the refrigerator. Now for the cookie filling, I'm using this jam. This is raspberry seedless jam. You don't want to have seeds in the cookies. It's not pleasant to be munching on the seeds. It's just gives it that little bit extra refinement if you can get the seedless jam. The recipe originally called for apricot. Not a fan, so we're doing raspberry. It'll be a perfect combination for the cream cheese and the lemon zest and juice in there. I'll be baking my cookies on this silicone mat. These mats replace, say, a parchment paper. You just have to wash them, obviously. It's best not to fold them or else you'll get a crease in there. So you can roll them up to store them, or you can leave them flat on your cookie sheet. This is a Wilton cookie sheet and the mat fits it perfectly, as you can see. Using my cookie scoop here, and I'm just pressing it in so that I can really like level it out so that they're all the same. And I'm just preparing them all. I'm going to bake them more spaced out than I'm putting them on the sheet there. Ready to get baking. Now you can see the little love there. That's exactly where you position your cookies, and that will ensure that they don't melt together and that you end up with a big pancake instead of individual cookies. And we're just going to drop the dozen on there. They're all perfectly sized thanks to my scooper that I used. I'm really happy that the mat is exactly the size of my cookie sheet. Now they call these thumbprint cookies. I'm not a big fan of sticking my thumb in them. I find that it really skews them. Your thumb is kind of a weird shape and it doesn't work. So I'm using a ball tool. If you don't have a ball tool, then use your thumb. I'm a bit of a pain when it comes to details. And I've dipped it in water, and now I'm just pressing in the middle of the cookie to get a little cavity there. And by dipping it in the water, it ensures that it doesn't stick and get all covered in cookie dough. It just needs a dunking in the water and it just pops right out. So the bigger the cavity, the more jam you're going to get in the cookie. So if you want to make a bigger well for the jam, then by all means do that. If the cookie dough cracks as you're making your well, just leave the ball in and push the cookie dough around it and it'll kind of stick. And now we'll be ready to fill these with the jam. I've put my jam in a piping bag. It just makes my life a bit easier. Might seem silly, but you're trying to fill these with a spoon, you'll quickly understand why. I sacrificed a piping bag for this task, especially if you're making these kind of small bite-sized versions of them. And now you can immediately pop these into the stove. Here are the cookies. They've had a little bit of time to cool. As you can see here, we've had some spillage of the jam. Let's see how stick resistant the mat is. And you can see here it broke, but the jam is just coming right off of the mat. So that's great. So yeah, you can see here, this cookie here had some jam underneath. Comes right off. Yeah, it's great. My cookies are a nice color underneath. That's another aspect. The color of the mat allows, you know, a nice browning, but they're not, you know, too brown underneath. Now let's give these cookies a try. You have the jam in the middle. I'm going to taste this. Yeah, I really like these cookies. It's a nice flavor combination. The cheese, the lemon, and the raspberry, very good. This step is optional. I'm going to dust the cookies with a little bit of powdered sugar. Just a light dusting. Make them look pretty. There we go. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks again to Artisan Cooking Supply for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you next time.